So welcome everyone. Hi Priyanka, hi Austin, hi Mel, hi Paula, hi Layla, hi Jimmy, hi Holly, hi Raymond. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is a random Wednesday masterclass, and Austin and I are here to talk to you about some really exciting things that are happening, and also to let you know that here's the thing that I just want to start out with because this is so important. Holly, you have your hand raised. Are you waving or just did you want to say something? So every single one of us were given certain gifts before we came to planet Earth so that we could navigate what it's like to be a human. These gifts are abilities that you have to be able to communicate with the higher realms. Austin and I have these gifts open, some more open than others. I asked Austin one time on a scale of like 0 to 10, how open are your gifts? And it was so funny because at first he's like 10. And I'm like, well, I heard them say 100. And he's like, yeah, I thought 100. So I'm like, okay, let me ask you again. How open are your gifts? And then he puts a little infinity symbol, which is more accurate because Austin is here on a mission to bring forth what can best be described as I am consciousness. And this is where you have access to your soul and all the knowledge in it. So the more that you have your clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairalliance, clairgusto, clair like as the more you have your clairs open, the more you are able to navigate through the Akashic records. And the Akashic records is a collection of all of your lifetimes, all of your incarnations, everything you've thought, everything you've said, everything that you've done. And you're here as a human to work on releasing and removing what's still in your records that needs to be, shall we say, healed. Um, Priyanka, I'm seeing him and I'm letting him in too because it says admit. So I'm admitting them. And now we have Kathleen. Welcome, Kathleen Davis. So Austin and I are going to be leading a series of masterminds to help people to be able to master what it is to be a human, to be a spiritual being having a human experience. So raise your hand either on the screen or off the screen if you feel like you have a connection that is otherworldly, like that you can talk to spirit, that you can talk to God, that you can talk to your ascended masters. Anybody? Priyanka, you better raise your hand. Austin, you better raise both your hands. Okay, good. Now, do you ever feel like maybe it's not fully as open as it could be? Because we have that too. We teach you how to fully open them so that you can have communication from the other side. They're like our guidance system. And without their guidance, we're kind of fumbling and bumping into what? What's the biggest obstacle anybody has that they kind of bump into all the time? 3 letters. First letter is E. Our egos. Anybody get tripped up on their ego? Please raise their hand. Anybody feel like sometimes it's more important to be right than to be happy? Raise your hand. Definitely have that. Right. So when you have the humility and the grace, anybody here stubborn? 2 hands, 2 feet. What we're here to do, you guys, is like to forgive all of that. Everybody that gets put in front of us is a mirrored reflection of some aspect of us. I want you to imagine a mirror ball. You know those disco balls, and they have all those little facets, those little pieces of mirror, and inside of it shines this gorgeous light. And our soul and our spirit is the light that's on the inside of that mirror ball. And then each little mirror is a reflection of some aspect of us that we haven't quite brought the light to. Now, there are mirror balls that have pieces of the mirror that are missing because you've completed that. You've learned how to master your emotions. You've learned how to not react, but to respond. You've learned how to be great with your parents, great with your siblings, great with your spouses, great with your kids, great with your bosses, great with your neighbors. I mean, I've got clients that show up in my world and they're like, I fight with my neighbors all the time. I'm like, why would you fight with your neighbors? But that's not my thing to heal. That's her thing to heal. I have my own battles and demons. But there are tools to help you navigate through this kind of minefield. Is there anybody here that feels like they get triggered easily? Like you're very emotional, you may have been called bipolar. There may have been times when you feel like your emotions get the best of you. Raise your hand. You definitely have that. So, what we are offering in this series of mastermind programs are tools to be able to teach you how to navigate that landmine. And I want to turn this over to Austin. We're going to be focusing on clearing the clairs, which is opening up your spiritual and psychic abilities. We're going to teach you how to have mastery over the chakras, which are the 7 energy centers in the body. And then there's the crown chakra. I mean, there's a whole bunch, there's like hundreds of them. But the 7 that you interact with here on earth are the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And believe it or not, the key to navigating the crown is healing the root chakra. The key to navigating the third eye is healing the solar plexus. The key to navigating the throat is mastering your relationship to your will, which is your solar plexus. You bring those, like the lock, these are locked, these are open. And when you get those to all open, your heart can stay open. You ever have the experience of your heart opens and then it closes back down, then it opens and it closes back down? For you to be able to be an embodiment of love and keep your heart open all the time is mastery of those psychic abilities and those energy centers that are known as the clairs. And then we're going to take you on a journey of mastery inside of the Akasha. So when all those are open, it's like you have all your gear and you're ready to go on a journey. That's when you walk into mastery of the Akasha. That's when you can go in and have full on conversations with your spirit guides. How many of you feel like you're able to communicate with your spirit guides right now? Raise your hand. How many of you are in denial about that? Priyanka, raise your hand. Okay. Look, we're all in denial. So I now want to turn this over to Austin because Austin has come in wide open with full cognition, full everything. And we're going to take you on this incredible journey. We're going to do 10 sessions over 3 months, March, April, and May. We're going to do 10 sessions over June, July, and August. We're going to do 10 sessions over September, October, November. Walking into the field of mastery. It's going to be intense. It's going to be powerful. And if you guys feel like you're up for this journey, we invite you to come with us. Austin, May, would you please come introduce yourself to these fine people? Hi, Liz. It's good to see you, lovey. Hey, sweetheart. Hi, Manjit. Welcome. Hi, Kathleen Davis. Hi, Layla. So good to see you in person, my love. All right, Austin, please introduce yourself to these fine, beloved people.
Hey everybody, I'm Austin May. Yeah, I came in. I've always had a really intense ability. Like I would say my first initial clair that I had wide open is like to be able to see the pathways into where humanity is going and like where things are going. Like that's always been my strongest one. Being able to see those lines. I don't like predict the future or anything because I don't believe that anybody should even attempt to predict the outcome of the future in any way because it can always change based upon anybody's will, or everybody always has their will and decisions that they make, but you can always see down the road for sure. And with all of the clairs, I would say the most important aspect to obtain within learning all of them is to be in your heart the whole time, to just to kind of like to feel into your heart as you're clearing all of your energy centers, to feel into your heart as you're sensing into anything. To give an example of that, I asked Lynn to do a little exercise this morning to find something that she couldn't find, and
Oh
her
my
heart
God.
her heart without thinking because the information to discovering all of the things that you're seeking, whether it's, you know, visions of the future or whatever it is, you're navigating anything, that first initial response.
I could not find my makeup bag. I was frantic. I ripped through the house. I'm freaking out, and I'm like, I can't find my makeup bag. He's laughing at me, and I'm like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. Like, you have no idea it's my makeup bag. This is so important. I'm like, did it get stolen at the airport? Did they take it out of my luggage? And he goes, okay, put your hand up and just let the energy guide you to where it is. And my hand went to the room in my office, and I had my mom tearing the house helping me. And she goes, I found it. It was under a blanket. Like, after I calmed down and I was like not reactive and could just be present too. All right, where is this thing? Because I had all these stories of where this was, and he's making fun of me. And I'm like, how dare you? You don't understand how important makeup is. Did I even put any makeup on? No, no, because a shower was more important. But at least I had my makeup bag back. But like these simple tools, he's like, try this little tweak, and boom, totally worked.
Yeah, it's
Brilliant. Thank you, by the way. Sorry for telling you to fuck off.
it's all right. I forgive you.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, so certain things like, you know, being able to find something that's lost, for instance, everything is energy, right? Everything that exists is emitting the essence of what it is. So I just said, like, you know, put your hand up like you're sensing into the force or something, and just ask yourself where it is. And you'll get like a little, like, as you're moving around, like I do this to find tools all the time, like where did I put those pliers? And like, oh, I get like, as my hand gets to right here, I feel a little sensation or like a vibration. Sometimes it's a little different, and then I go to wherever that is, lift something up, and boom, there it is, what I've lost. And so things are always communicating. Energy is always moving. It's always coming into our field and giving us information. And when you ask the question, whatever it is that you're seeking, the first initial thing that pops in before your thinking starts, that's the key that you will tap into learning all of the clairs and everything. You'll learn how to get into that initial response before the thinking starts, which is always the information that comes right into your heart. Were you going to say something, Lynn?
And no, will you now talk about the chakras and the importance of the chakras?
Well, the chakras for me, they're more than just like this energetic, um, it's more than just like an energetic center in the body that most people understand. It's the way that I see them is that it's a part of one of the major organs in the body that has its own intricate electrical system, and everything is electric in the universe. So no matter how small or large you go, everything's electrical. And so the more the more we tap into, like, the more electricity, the more value of electricity we add into our life, into our body, the more fine-tuned we'll become with every single thing around us and in our environment and within us. um is there something like specific you'd want me,
Well,
like
there's a,
you?
there's a, so the chakra in Sanskrit means wheel, and
Yeah.
it's a wheel that spins, and it spins either clockwise, counterclockwise, or it's stopped. And the reason that these chakra centers get stopped and blocked is because we've had trauma that relates to one of them. They relate to specific organs in the body. They relate to, like, the root chakra is all about the home. The sacral chakra is creativity. It's where sexuality, and it's where money is generated from. The solar plexus, which is tucked in between the ribs, is the center of will. The color is yellow, my favorite color. These are my lovely tulips that I bought when I was recently in Utah and Idaho. They're not real. I keep them in this cute little vase. I love yellow. Have you ever heard of a yellow-bellied coward? A yellow-bellied coward is someone that has their solar plexus chakra that's been damaged, and they don't have the strength and the will. The third chakra, the yellow chakra, the solar plexus chakra, is about it's I will. The heart, I love, green and pink. Green when you're extending love, pink when you're receiving love. The throat chakra is light blue like the sky. It's all about communication. The third eye is that beautiful deep indigo color, that beautiful rich blue of like lapis lazuli. And then the crown chakra is violet. And each of these centers emits a certain energy and frequency, like Austin was talking about, like with the clairs. And you can raise them and you can lower them. So the work that we're going to do is take you on a journey of opening, particularly the lower three, which is the work that we need to do. Jesus always says that the work we need to do is on those first three chakras. There's a book that a group of us are reading that's called The Right Use of Will. It also talks about that. And the crown chakra, and then above the crown chakra is the soul star chakra, which is about 8 to 10 inches above the head. It's like got gorgeous golden Mahatma energy, and you can there's a tube called the Sushumna that runs right down the spine. And they say the best work in life is going to be done between the root chakra, the tip of the spine, and then the crown chakra. You want to keep that thing open. And Jesus used to teach his disciples to do energy work to clear and open those. And the more that you do, the more your clairs open up.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean each one it's looked at like a wheel because I mean it was like the closest description you could really express to what a singularity is we're rainbow spectrum beings. We live and experience everything within the spectrum of the rainbow, and each section of those colors is actually like a torus filled singularity that is spitting out a particle from a different like dimension, if you will, like a different vibrational realm. And when we cut ourselves off or we're too much into one, that it will is going to be spinning faster or slower, emitting more of that energy into our field, into our awareness. And so like yeah, just getting everything to balance out so each one is rotating at like an equal rate. That's when we'll find more balance and peace in our life. And so um yeah, we'll learn a lot about all of that, and how to go into the heart, how to face the things that we're avoiding, and be able to settle everything or amplify everything that we're needing.
Does anyone feel like there's anything that they're avoiding in their lives? Please raise their hand. Any feelings, any emotions? Those of you not raising your hands, you're good. Okay, good. We may not have things consciously that we're avoiding, but I promise you that there's stuff subconsciously and unconsciously. As Metatron calls it, the things we have chained in our basement, things that we don't want to talk about, things that we don't want to deal with, things that we don't even want to look at. And we go in and we use breathing exercises and lots of techniques to help you go in and heal those. And it's really, really beautiful. And then the last part of what we're going to be doing in this Mastermind series is we're going to be doing a body of work that's called Mastering the Akasha. So the Akasha in Sanskrit means boundless space. It's the field. I like to call it the spiritual iCloud. It's the place where everything, all of your incarnations, past, future, simultaneous, everything you said, everything you thought, everything you did, all of that exists. It's held in a body of records that are called the Akashic Records. Have you all heard of the Akashic Records? Raise your hand. Is there anybody that hasn't heard of the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records, when you can go in there and you can have your chakras open, you can have your heart open. Because understand, opening the chakras, like the heart is the middle chakra. So when you've balanced and when you've connected the solar plexus with the throat, and the sacral with the third eye, and the crown and the root, you open up and you unleash the power of the heart. And what did Jesus talk about? He talked about love, right? Being able to receive love. Anybody here have a little challenge receiving love at times? Raise your hand. But yet you're like these monstrously generous people, and you give and you give and you give, right? Exactly. Sometimes to the point of overgiving. But do you give that same love to yourself? Do you love yourself first? I know Austin's such an overgiver, but do you love yourself first? Austin said this thing to me last night. He's like, can you just love all of you exactly as you are? And I went to sleep last night contemplating, how come it's hard for me to just love all of myself exactly the way that I am? If I am as God made me, why couldn't I love what God created? But my ego goes, because your boobs are too big, because your butt is too big, because you have wrinkles, because you have cellulite, because you would rather eat pizza than drink celery juice. And I would, honestly. And why can't that be okay? Oh, thank you, Mel. Anybody here that would rather eat pizza than drink celery juice? Okay, we can be friends for life. Yay. So once we've helped you master your clairs, once we've helped you master your chakras, we're then going to go on this mastery journey into, so excited, into the Akashic Records. Because the Akashic Records are the programming. It's like the master controls. You know, we were given the chakras, the energy centers. We were given these psychic tools to go in so we can get the instructions from the Akashic Records of what we're here for. Anybody wonder about what your soul purpose is? You find out in the Akashic Records. Anybody feel like, I know that I'm here with a purpose? I remember being 11 years old at the Episcopal Church. We had to say this prayer. It was a forgiveness prayer before you could receive communion. And we would say, God, I don't feel worthy enough to gather up the crumbs underneath your table. And at 11 years old, I whipped up and I turned to my mom and I go, I don't want to say that part. I feel like I should be sitting up at that table with God, not, you know, God loves me. And she pats me on the knee and she goes, you don't have to say that part, sweetheart. And she says, but just know that having a relationship with God is like planting a seed that's going to grow a tree, and you will draw upon the roots and you will draw upon the leaves. And it was the most beautiful thing. I love trees. Trees are my favorite thing in nature. And then there's cats, and then there's people. I'm working on it. But we were given gifts, we were given guides, we were given things to help us navigate this life. And if you want to find your soul purpose, where you find that is in the Akashic Records. You get to meet the angel that was assigned to you. You get to meet your higher self. You get to find out why, I had to look and go, how come I love Paris? Why is it my favorite city in the world? And I hate Germany and I hate Spain. Why do I love snakes and I hate spiders? Why am I terrified of my father? The answer sat in the Akashic Records, and then I got to go in and do the healing on it. And now when I see spiders, I'm like, hi, Spider Man. And I literally will like put them under a cup with glass and I'll give them their freedom outside. I used to run out of the room screaming until I found the lifetime where I was practicing dark magic and I used to use spiders to do my bidding. And I would create a poison concoction and I would put it on the spider and I would direct the spider to go bite and kill somebody. Like as as much as we're light, we're dark. I had to take responsibility for that. I had to clear that karma inside of the Akashic Records, and then I wasn't afraid of spiders anymore. You can make this shit up. Like, I wish I could say I was this creative, but it all sits in the Akashic Records. I believe that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have direct access to their Akashic Records. You know those scary movies that we see made and we're terrified of them? It's ringing some bell in our Akash. It exists somewhere in our consciousness, which is why we're afraid of it. Make sense? All right. Austin, anything else you want to say about that?
Not about that specifically. No. Well, I will say what I was mentioning about, the first initial like when you're asking yourself any question, like you can ask yourself anything, any question you could ever think of. The answers are always there because they're in the Akashic Records. The answers are always there. And when you learn to fine tune into the first thing that comes before your thinking starts, that's when you have direct response from the Akashic Records, regardless of the question you're asking. There's no dumb question, there's no question too small, there's no question too great. It's all always there.
Just don't ask me, when am I going to meet my soulmate? Because you know what the Akashic Records are going to tell you? They're going to say, oh, you're with your soulmate in 17 lifetimes. You're going to be like, what? When am I going to, do you understand? So you want to find out, where's your trauma? Where's your pain? Where's your shadow? Where's your darkness? And who can help me to get there, to release that, to turn that back to the light? Does that make sense? And I got to tell you what, it's hard work. It's a pain in the ass. This is not joyful. This isn't like, oh, goody, I get to. No, this is like, you got to go in and you got to feel stuff. You got to feel stuff that you have not wanted to feel. I asked who has things I don't want to feel, and not everybody raised their hand. But here's what I promise you: we all have stuff that's down there chained in our basement that we don't want to deal with. But if you're willing to take that journey, if you're willing to go in and do the work, if you're willing to go in and feel it, to heal it, that's what we're offering. Does anyone have any questions? We have a special offer for you guys. So each of these 3-month journeys, we were currently offering for $4,444 in the full package at a discount of $12,222, and we have payment plans. But for those of you who are here, we have a discount that we're offering. So there would be a huge savings on these programs if you want to come and join them. Each individual program, we would take $1,000 off. And if you opt in to buy the whole program, we will take $3,000 because I'm feeling really generous today. It's been a great day. So if that's anything that you're interested in, you can definitely reach out to us. We would love to have you in these programs. I go up to Spirit and I'm like, please bring forth the people that are supposed to be in this program. My girlfriend Wendy and I are leading a year-long program this year. And I called out to Spirit, and Spirit said there's going to be 20 of you, and including Wendy and I. There were 20 of us in this program. So we never know who it's going to be. If your soul is calling you in, if your spiritual guidance wants you to be here, we invite you to come. This journey is going to be quite extraordinary. Does anyone have any questions that we can answer for you? Anything you want to know about your clairs? Anything you want to know about your chakras? Anything that you want to know about the Akashic records? One of my favorite things to talk about. Oops. Nobody, nothing. Liz, hi, sweet girl. So good to see you. Can you unmute yourself, baby? I know why Liz is outside, because it's a gorgeous day and she lives on Long
There
Island.
we go. Yeah, it is beautiful out. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, my love.
Okay, excellent. First of all, it is so good to see you. It's been way too long.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
I think
Okay,
of you
we
often.
we
So
can hear you. I see you playing harp. She's a gorgeous artist. I can
Thank
hear
you.
you, but I can't see you. We lost your camera.
All right, hold on. Is that better?
There you go. Hi.
Okay. So yes, it is gorgeous outside and I needed that breath of air. And my question is, I have more than one Claire.
Yes.
How do I know which one to work on developing? How do you know which ones to
Love that you
tap
asked that.
into?
I love that you asked that question. Okay. I'm going to take you guys on a quick journey. I want everybody to grab a pen and a paper. And we're going to measure your clairs right now. Okay? I'm going to ask you some very simple questions. Austin, we already know that yours is infinity, so you don't have to do that. All right. So we're going to measure 4 clairs. I want you to write on this piece of paper, CA. It stands for clairaudience. It's your ability to hear spirit beyond the physical ears. Next, I want you to write CV. It stands for clairvoyance. It's your ability to see from spirit beyond the physical eyes. I then want you to write CS, which stands for clairsentience. It's your ability to experience spirit. It's like when all of a sudden the temperature changes in the room and you feel the presence, or you get the goosebumps, or literally someone's like tapping you and you're like, there's nobody in the room. That's clairsentience. And then I want you to write CC, which is claircognizance. Those are the 4 that I work with. There's clairgusto and there's clairalliance. And unfortunately, Austin has those in full. And that's the ability to smell people and taste people if they're not in your proximity. Austin, will you tell your fun story about driving in the car? I get such a kick out of this.
Oh boy. I really try to not use this one very much, but sometimes it just happens. But yeah, it's the best way to describe it. It happens to me when I'm out driving, and I could just like, if I go and look over at somebody in like the car next to me, like windows can be up, it doesn't matter. If I make eye contact with them, then all of a sudden I can smell and taste them, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, like I could just It's like I know the environment that they're living in. I know whether they've showered or not. I know it's it's pretty intense for sure, to say the least. And I get to experience that every day I'm out driving when I'm in
So
crowds of
my
people.
strongest Claire is Claire Alliance. It's so funny. I mean, when my grandmother shows up, who's on the other side, she smells like roses because rose scent was her favorite. When my stepfather shows up, who's on the other side, he smells like cigarettes because he used to love to smoke. Do you guys ever have that where you can
Yeah.
smell a smell and like there's nothing that triggers that? That's clairsentience. I'm sorry, that's clairalliance. Clairgusto is when you can taste stuff that's not, like you haven't had it on your tongue. So, all right, with these four, here's what I want everybody to do. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to just get present to where you are in time and space, whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, whether you're inside, whether you're outside. Just allow yourself to be present to where you are. I want you to take an inhale in through your nose with everything that you have. Bring that life force, bring that prana into the body. And then as you exhale and release through the mouth, I want you to start to drop your consciousness down towards your heart. Gorgeous. Take another longer, slower, deeper, richer inhale in through the nose. Let it circulate throughout the body. And then as you exhale through the mouth, allow yourself to sink even further down towards the heart. Take one more deep, rich, brilliant inhale. Breathe all that life force, all that prana into the body. Feel it circulate. And then exhale and release through the mouth, coming into the heart. Now go ahead and open your eyes. On a scale of 1 to 10,000, at what level is your clairaudience? First number that comes to you, just write it down. Your ability to hear messages from spirit. Okay? Everybody got their number? Beautiful. Don't second guess. Don't fuck around. Just write down the number that comes to you. Okay? Take another inhale in. On your exhale, on a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your clairvoyance? Your ability to receive visual messages from spirit beyond the physical eyes. Write that number down. Doesn't matter. Don't judge it. Don't change it. Just write it down. Okay? Take another gorgeous inhale in. On your exhale, on a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your clairsentience, your ability to receive messages from spirit through your physical senses beyond what is within your proximity? Take that number, write it down, just trust it. Don't change it. Take one more inhale in. On a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your claircognizance, your ability to just receive information from spirit? Just comes right to you. You're like, how do I know that? I didn't read it. No one taught me that. You just know it. Okay. Very good. Now, you would look at your lowest number. Okay. Everybody has the lowest number. That's the clair that we would focus on, because that one you've pulled down. So, and this girlfriend, she's a brilliant shaman, Paulette, has the most amazing psychic abilities, but she couldn't see. She couldn't see from spirit. We go in to her Akashic records, and there's a lifetime where she's the medicine woman of this Indian tribe. It had to be like Utah, Montana, Idaho. I see snow. She keeps having visions that her tribe is going to be attacked. Now, she's 3 generations from when she was born. So the leaders of the tribe right now, they're like, oh, you're crazy old woman. There's nothing that's going to happen to us. We're fine. We're fine. And the day that she knows that marauders are coming, she goes and she hides in a cave. She comes back, and the tribe has been killed and murdered and destroyed. There's a few that are left, and they come to her and they're like, you did this. You made this happen. This was your vision. You brought this to us. They take 2 pieces of wood that have been burning in the fire, red like embers, and they place them on her eyes to burn her eyeballs out. And she makes a decision: I will never use this gift again, and loses that ability. We rehabilitate it, and now she's fully recovered her clairvoyance. So we teach you the techniques to find those. When we did that, we measured her clairs again and her numbers. Now, here's an interesting thing that might happen. You might have one clair that's like making up for another one. So the number of one clair may go down while the other one comes up. But you measure all of them again, and others ones may not have moved. But it's been fascinating. Nina's been in classes with me for years now, and she's seen this. Nina, you want to talk about what this is like and how you've seen them move for you?
Sure. When I first took this first class about clearing the clairs and learning how to do that, my numbers were, we were just, at the time, we were using just 1 to 10, as a simple scale. And I can remember that in the beginning, my claircognizance was like 10, like immediate, and everything else was like 3, 4, really low. But the more that we worked on clearing each thing, going into the Akashic records, saying, okay, what's the deal here with, my hearing and whatever, and clairvoyance and this and that, different lifetimes, I learned that, I was in certain predicaments that made me choose, like, oh boy, never again, I'm not using this again. I don't want to be burned, and, I don't want to be stoned and yeah, off of their head. But then I think, the more clearing that we did through the Akashic records and, reconciling that and acknowledging it, everything else, all the other clairs started to balance out a little bit more. I still
What were your numbers today, babe?
clairaudience 10,000.
Woo.
Clairvoyance 900. See, this is where, and now anything after clairaudience, I drop into the hundreds. Clairsentience 800 and claircognizance 900. So recently, the clairaudience is what really has kind of been very loud. No pun intended.
Listen, me too. As we've been doing this breathing into the chakra things,
Yeah.
the clairaudience has gotten like off the charts.
Yeah.
So, Liz, you go in, you measure these. We go in, we do the work. We clear these lifetimes that are in the Akashic records. You're not going to just learn to read the Akashic records. You're going to learn how to go into the Akashic records. You're going to meet your guides. You're going to go to a round table, and you're going to have an experience of what it's like to sit in front of your higher self and to see an aspect of you that is like the most magnificent qualities that you brought to this lifetime.
Thank you.
Really you're welcome, baby. Anybody else have any other questions? Thank you for that question. That was great. Anybody else? Any other question? Okay, well, Austin, anything else you want to say, my love?
Yeah, with this course and everything, Lynn's the mastermind with the taking you guys into all the things, and one of the biggest things that I bring into it is the value of love. I'm here to hold a space of love for everybody, because that's where the things rapidly increase with everything that you're going to experience. Everything came from and will return to love. It's more than just an emotion, it's the vibration of creation itself. And a part of the aspect of my energy is that I hyper accelerate one's spiritual journey and everything that is meant for them to experience in life, and like what your purpose to incarnate is for, like whatever all of that is. I help to hyper accelerate everything that is for you. And so part of why I'm here is to be of assistance with all of that, so all of this can be done with much more ease and grace. I mean, I'm sure there's other courses that you could take, but when you add all of these values up, the benefit that you get from it is really one of a kind. And so just wanted to express that.
Austin has a couple courses that he's going to be teaching so that people can begin to get to know him. He just turned 33, and now he's coming out to the public world with his gifts and abilities. And thank you, Raymond. He's teaching a class that's called Remembering remembering I am, is that it? And Austin is this incredible amplifier. So Jesus comes into me and we lay our hands on people and we remove like dark energy from them. Austin has that ability, like he just carries that frequency. And the things that he touches and the people that he works with. He did a science experiment with a group of us. I think there are 4 of us, 5 of us here, did the experiment with him. It was Nina, Manjit, Raymond, Yoke, myself, and a Holly, who was here earlier, and a few others. And he took our pictures and he prayed and sent love to us 3 times a day. And there was this little exam that we took measuring certain qualities, and it measured one number. And then when we were finished with this experiment after a week, we redid this test and the numbers were like off the charts. So he is an amplifier. He is here on a purpose and a mission to help humanity, as I am, to open up to our gifts and abilities so that we can amplify more love. Because after all, isn't that what we're all about? So I thank you all so much for being here. Priyanka dropped a link if you want to check out what we're doing with these masterminds. You don't have to come to all 3. You're welcome to come to one if there's one that tickles your fancy. If you want to come and open yourself up, if you want to learn more, if you want to feel more, if you want to be able to be of service to people more. With everything that we're going to teach in the course of this masterclass, you could open up a spiritual practice and have a very, very healthy 6-figure income from what it is that we're going to teach. So if you're looking for business development, that's available for you as well. I wish you all a gorgeous day. Any questions before we go? Any comments? Thank you all so much for joining us. My website is soulmasteryuniversity.com. Austin's website is iamthelight.love. Such a gorgeous name for a website. And he truly is an embodiment of that I am presence. Thank you all so much for being here. Sending you all the love in the world. Hi, Yoke. Sweetheart. Thank you for being here. We love you. If you need to find us, you can find us on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. I have so much fun on TikTok. God, Austin puts the most beautiful videos on TikTok. And I want to give just a quick shout out to Raymond to say thank you for being our YouTube genius who posts all of our videos, and to Priyanka, who has worked with me for almost 4 years now. I'm going to get to meet her. She's actually coming to my hometown from Canada in April, and I'm going to hug her, and I'm never going to let go. You're not getting her back. I just want you to know I plan on kidnapping you. So that's happening. Anyway, love you all. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful day, everyone.